All right, so if you're a Christopher Nolan fan, you know the deal, right? His movies can sometimes feel like you need a PhD to follow along. But what if his next big thing was a story so classic, so well-known that everyone could get it? Well, today we're jumping into exactly that. We're looking at the huge buzz around a fan-made trailer for a fictional Nolan movie, The Odyssey, and we're using PJ Explain's awesome breakdown to guide us. Let's dig into what this whole concept really tells us.
And this quote right here, it just says it all. This time, you won't need a degree to understand his story. I mean, just think about that for a second. A Nolan film that's not just for the puzzle solvers, but for everyone. It's built on a story that's basically in our cultural DNA. That's the huge, exciting idea behind this whole Odyssey concept.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about why this story is such a perfect fit for Nolan. Then, we'll get into the incredible cast they imagined, the mind-blowing IMAX tech, the sheer spectacle of it all, and of course that classic Nolan touch.
All right, first stop, Nolan's accessible epic. We're talking about adapting one of the most famous stories ever told. Seriously, this is The Odyssey. It's about this guy Odysseus, a total war hero coming home from the Trojan War. But what should be a straightforward trip home turns into this insane 10-year nightmare. He's battling gods, mythical creatures, you name it. It's wild.
So why is this a perfect match for Christopher Nolan? Well, look at these themes. Ego and identity getting pushed to the breaking point? That's pure Dark Knight trilogy. Temptation, patience, faith, all while time itself is warping around you? I mean, come on, that's Inception and Interstellar all rolled into one. The Odyssey is basically a giant sandbox for all the big ideas Nolan loves to play with. It's the ultimate man versus idea story.
Okay, next up, a star-studded voyage. You can't have a story this big without a truly epic cast, right? And man, the dream lineup in this trailer is it's perfect. They've picked some absolute titans to play these legendary characters.
Just get a load of this. You've got Matt Damon as our hero, Odysseus, Tom Holland as his son, Telemachus, Robert Pattinson as the villain, Antinous, Zendaya playing the goddess Athena, and Anne Hathaway as Penelope, Odysseus' wife. I mean, wow. And PJ Explain makes a great point. This is probably just the start. The full ensemble would be absolutely stacked.
All right, let's talk tech. This is the IMAX revolution. And you know with a Nolan movie, the how it's made is just as important as the what. This isn't just about a great story and great actors. It's about changing the game, pushing the limits of what you can even show on a movie screen.
And how do you do that? Well, you start with money, a lot of it. The budget for this concept is a cool $250 million. To give you some context, that's bigger than The Dark Knight Rises, bigger than Interstellar. We're not just talking about a movie here, we're talking about a massive, must-see cinematic event.
So here's the real game changer. We're used to Nolan using IMAX for those huge, jaw-dropping scenes, right? The Batpod chase, the rotating hallway. But for The Odyssey, the idea is that he'd shoot the entire thing on IMAX cameras, start to finish. That's never been done before. Every single shot, whether it's an epic battle or just two people talking, would have that insane scale and immersion. It would completely suck you into the world.
But PJ Explained brings up a really smart question here. A bit of a critique, actually. If this movie is supposed to be this revolutionary 100% IMAX experience, then why is the trailer itself in a regular old aspect ratio? You know, the kind you see on YouTube. It's a great point. How much of that epic vision are we already missing out on just by watching it on our phones or laptops?
Okay, let's get into the visuals, because that's where this trailer really shines. Mythic spectacle realized. The analysis points out a few specific moments that just look absolutely incredible, where you feel like you're seeing these ancient myths come to life for the very first time.
First up, the Trojan horse. I mean, we've all heard the stories, right? But to actually see it, PJ Explained describes it as just this amazing feeling. It's not just the set piece. It feels like you're looking at a piece of history, something legendary, made totally real.
And really, the one word that sums it all up is just spectacle. You know, a visually stunning display. The analysis zeroes in on one shot that is just pure awe, the kind of thing that makes you remember why paying to see a movie on a giant screen is so worth it.
But the real highlight, the moment that everyone's talking about, it's the reveal of the Cyclops. And this is pure Nolan. It's not some monster jumping out at you. No, it's this slow, terrifying buildup, a masterclass in creating tension.
And this is how it's done. Check this out. First, there are these two moments of dead silence, total pauses that just make your skin crawl. Then, Boom, you get just a tiny, terrifying peek at the creature. And then the final shot makes our hero, Odysseus, look completely insignificant, totally small. It's just brilliant filmmaking. You can almost feel the entire theater holding its breath. So it's more than just cool shots and scary monsters. Let's talk about the signature Nolan touch. There's a certain feeling to this trailer, a weight to it, a sense of importance. And that right there is pure Nolan.
Yeah, you don't just feel excited watching this. It's heavier than that. The overall impression is one of heavy drama, a really serious tone, and this immense gravity. It feels less like a summer blockbuster and more like you're watching a major historical event happen.
And you know what drives that feeling home? The music. The score is imagined by Ludwig Göransson, and PJ Explained gives it the ultimate compliment. Hans Zimmer would be proud. For a Nolan movie, that's about the highest praise you can get, right? That's the kind of music that tells you you're not just watching an adventure, you're watching an epic.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up. What are the big takeaways here? We've got the idea of Nolan's most accessible movie ever, a groundbreaking new step for IMAX, a visual spectacle that's just off the charts, and a film that feels less like entertainment and more like a heavy, important event.
Which brings us to the final question, the one PJ Explained left his audience with. After all this, what's the main feeling you're left with? Is it just pure popcorn-munching excitement for a huge adventure? Or is it that deeper feeling of importance, that sense that you're about to see a true masterpiece? And maybe the real question is, what do we even want from a filmmaker like Nolan anymore? Something to think about.